Many people claim Hitler and the NSDAP were not pagan. They point to the lack of explicit mentions of the old gods in his speeches and writings. This argument collapses under scrutiny. It ignores strategy, context, and the deeper cultural foundations the movement actually drew from. The absence of direct god names was not evidence of disbelief. It was deliberate political navigation. Germany remained a Christian nation after centuries of suppression. The indigenous Germanic spiritual traditions had been marginalized, corrupted, or driven underground. Hitler needed to build a mass movement that could unite Christians and nationalists alike. Open pagan revivalism would have fractured that base. Instead, he embedded the ancient worldview in the language of nature, blood, struggle, and the Volk. The symbol chosen for the entire state makes the intent unmistakable. The Hakenkreuz, the swastika. This is no Christian emblem. It is an ancient Indo-European and Germanic symbol of the sun wheel, the cosmic cycle, and the turning forces of life itself. Archaeological artifacts from the Germanic Iron Age link it directly to contexts associated with Odin and Thor, not as crude idols, but as representations of greater natural and ancestral powers. By placing it at the center of the flag, Hitler invoked pre-Christian Germanic heritage in the most public way possible. It was a conscious rejection of the cross and everything it had imposed. Anyone who calls this a neutral or Christian symbol either does not know the history or refuses to see what is plainly there. In Mein Kampf, Hitler addresses the conflict directly. He describes the coming of Christianity as the introduction of spiritual terror into the much freer ancient world. Christianity did not win through superior truth. It won through ruthless intolerance, smashing pagan altars, enforcing dogma by coercion, and breaking resistance with spiritual and physical violence. He notes that such terror can only be broken by a counterforce of equal iron will. That new force, he argues, must draw on the greater powers of nature and the Volk, concepts that are pre-Christian and fundamentally Germanic. He exalted the Volk and blood as a sacred, destined reality. This is not modern nationalism dressed up. It reaches back to the ancient Germanic understanding of the people as a living kinship body. Ancestors, law, custom, and soil bound together. The tribal god Saxnot, also called Saxnot, stands as a clear example. A god of the Saxon folk explicitly named and renounced in the old Saxon baptismal vow alongside Woden and Donar. The folk carried that same sense of ancestral and tribal divinity into the modern age. Hitler avoided naming specific gods like Woden or Thor in major public addresses for a precise reason. In the Germanic sense, these figures were not omnipotent creator gods in the Abrahamic mold. They were personifications of real forces greater than man: storm and ecstatic inspiration, thunder and protective strength, justice and cosmic law. In a population steeped for generations in Christian theology, naming the gods risked immediate confusion and rejection. Listeners would equate natural forces with foreign, personal deities. By speaking, instead of the greater forces of nature, struggle as the father of all things, fate, providence, and the inexorable order that demands alignment, Hitler presented the raw realities directly. He bypassed the personification trap and spoke to the deeper Germanic understanding. A god is a force to be respected, struggled with, and aligned with, whether thunder in the sky or knowledge and strength within the man. The goal was to forge destiny, not submit to an alien will. Throughout Mein Kampf and his rhetoric, he invokes higher powers with terms such as Schicksal, fate, Vorsehung, providence, Verhängnis, doom, and references to an eternal shaping force. These are not empty phrases. They point to a worldview in which nature itself carries divine weight, and the folk stands as its living expression. This is Germanic paganism in its authentic mode, not primarily a collection of anthropomorphic Norse-style personalities, though those have their place, but a binding to the actual forces of nature, the blood of the folk, ancestral continuity, and the law of eternal struggle and becoming. Knowledge must be won, strength must be honed, honor must be lived. The sacred oak dedicated to Donar stood as a living temple long before any church was raised. The Thing assembly spoke law under ancestral sanction, often tied to Tyr as god of justice and glory. Natural law was the cosmic order, not a human invention. The warrior ethos embodied Woden's ecstasy and kingship alongside Thor's raw protective power. These were not abstract politics. They were the cultural software of the people before the foreign overlay arrived. Even the architecture of the Christian era reveals the older layer. The great cathedrals with their ribbed vaults and soaring stone canopies mimic the interwoven branches of the sacred grove. The form remembers what the doctrine tried to erase. The NSDAP did not emerge from nowhere. It was a modern, political, and intentional attempt to reconnect a people with their own ancient natural order. Blood, soil, struggle, Volk, and cosmic fate against the long dominance of an imported spiritual system. The symbol on the flag declared it. The language of nature and will confirmed it. The rejection of spiritual terror in favor of indigenous strength defined the core impulse. Those who insist the National Socialist movement had nothing to do with paganism, or who reduce the entire phenomenon to cartoon villainy stripped of its cultural roots, simply do not understand Germanic culture or the nature of its paganism. The evidence is not subtle. It is emblazoned on the flag, written into the foundational text, rooted in the soil, and visible in the very forms the old faith once took. The NSDAP and the natural order it invoked refute the distortions, both the claim that it was merely Christian in character and the claim that it was rootless modern invention. The roots run deeper than either narrative allows.